After much deliberation, I went with the Beetlejuice look.
Just don't say it 3 times. I'm blown away. Wonderful performance. Wonderful idea.
Thank you.
You gave us little breadcrumbs up to the trailer, and then you gave us the trailer, and then I don't want to give too much away, so let's say ...
Mm-hmm.
But what a genius idea.
Thank you.
How did you get to the idea of Doppelganger?
You know, for a horror movie, you need a nice, simple premise for the audience to latch on to. And then, you know, I like to take it, you know, and make it more complex as we go, as long as I have them. The idea for me of Doppelganger has always been a terrifying one, but when I thought of the Doppelganger family, I felt that I had a premise that was unexplored and creeped me out.
Why?
I don't know, man. Imagine there's something different about seeing opening a door and seeing yourself, and then looking out the window and seeing your entire family represented. I think the implications of that are even more confusing, because when you look at yourself, I think you implicitly feel like one of us must die. I just don't want it to be me. When you see your family, you're fearing for your family as well.
You said the evil is us. Do you think that there is an evil inside of each and one of us?
Yes. I think that human beings have a very evil side as individuals, but even more what this movie is about is as collective. You know, in our DNA, there are elements that we have to, evil that we have to defeat by looking at them and examining them. You know, back when we were, you know, tribes, you know, hanging out and meeting other tribes, we had to treat the other as a threat to our resources. That's still in us, you know, I think by virtue of even loving our own, there's a built-in fear of the other. That's a flaw. We value the other. We value strangers less than we value our own, and I think that's a demon.
Do you think we obviously just see in the movie as well that we have to face our fears, and as you're just saying, you know, it's the fear inside of us. Did you ever had to face your fears and then go forward, or did you go away?
Of course, I got married.
It's not really a fear, is it?
Of course, that's a fear. You're leaving the version of yourself that you've known, the version of yourself that is just gets to look out for you. You're leaving that behind, and you're entering something bigger. It's a wonderful fear, but you know, having a family is, you know, is wonderful, but it's daunting. It's uncharted territory. It's a rebirth.
So presumably you went ahead with it.
So I went ahead with it.
You didn't run away. So you fight your own fears.
And it's the greatest you know, adventure of my life, honestly. But not in coincidence that this movie is about a family.
So you think, in general, you know, you have all the scenes you're doing, they're all very hard scenes there. But which one was the most challenging one, and which one is the most scene which will stick with you for the rest of your life, you would think?
You know, I think the most challenging scene was the fight scene between Lupita and Lupita. Very tall ask to ask of an actor. You know, she has to embody these two completely different characters and essentially dance with herself. So that took a great amount of consideration of her process, and I love the result. You know, I think the scene where the family is entering is my favorite scene. That's where I feel like on a horror scale, I feel like I got at something special.
The fighting scene, just back to that real quick, how long did that take you? Because it's a big scene. How long did that take you to shoot?
It took probably about 4 days, something like that. And, you know, for Lupita, most of those days were very long. So I put her through it, but I also told her beforehand, I was like, you're going to be tired. Like, this is, not many people have attempted to do what we're about to do here. And she was up for it. And she came to work every day, prepared, and if not prepared to figure out how to be prepared.
So I guess you faced your fears there as well.
Yeah, I for so long, I didn't try to be a director because I was afraid of failure.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I loved it so much. And I'm such a big fan of movies are so important to me. I didn't know if I could stand if I made one that I didn't love. So, you know, and it took me a while, but I've faced my fear.
Thank you that you did. With Get Out, you really set a pretty much tone, and it was such a successful movie. And then you follow with this. Basically, you had to step in your own footsteps, but you had to overdo yourself. But how far can you go, and how big of a challenge was it for you?
You know, I wanted to show the audience that I had. I have different stories, and stories that are very different from one another, and that so that they know that there are more as well. I think that it would have been a very easy mistake to try to recreate Get Out and say, okay, this worked here, let's just do it again. For me, Us was about, you know, taking the elements that worked for me, but then trying to challenge my audience and challenge myself as a storyteller.
And can you, are you afraid of challenging yourself even more and more? Because this is amazing what you're showing with this movie. You know,
when it comes to challenging myself, right now, it's not fear, it's excitement. Mm-hmm. I'm in such a point of amazing privilege where I get to make movies and I get to make another one. So I take that as such a blessing, and the only way to honor that for me is to make sure I'm having fun doing what I'm doing.
Something fun, if you would see your own doppelganger in front of you now, mm-hmm. which the worst things of you, what makes you run away from you, and what would draw yourself to you? It could be characteristics, or it could be, wherever you want to go with that.
I would want to, I'd probably run from my own voice. You know, when you don't have that when you hear your own voice and it's like, that's what I've been sounding like? I'm an absolute nerd. I thought I was cool. So I'd probably want, I'd be like, can you just zip it? I think what I'd be drawn to is my stunning features. Okay. Physically, I'm a beautiful man. And that's how it would be if I can't even tell you what a conversation with myself would be like.
What advice would you give yourself?
Advice? Mm-hmm. I'd probably say I'd probably say, it's a very esoteric question to answer. I would probably say can you go? Can you write the next movie for me? I have some other things to do. I have to spend time with my friends and family. Can you just sit down, write it, let me know when you have it, and I'll take it from there.
Take it.